Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Apollo Show. I'm your host, Apollo, and I'm here with the beautiful, tanned, well-hydrated Coco Bae. How are you?
Feeling very tan, feeling very hydrated, hot girl things only.
Perfect. So we love around here. Hot girl only.
How are you today?
I feel good. Sorry, I'm getting excited here. Why don't you let everyone know what you do and how you fit into the puzzle in the industry?
So I do corn.
Perfect. Absolutely.
I'm in the adult industry. Mostly I do online content, and some of that is kind of collabs, which is more amateur work, as well as professional shoots with companies. I wanted to say bigger companies, but some are big, some are small.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting like a professional shoot? Do they come to you, or do you have like a middleman that like sorts it out for you?
You got to do it all. So like in some cases they will come to you. I have a PR person as well. So like sometimes they'll try and go through my PR person, but it's actually not her job to get me jobs. So she'll just like filter them over to me. You can go through an agency.
Yep. I've heard of that a lot. Like a lot of the people overseas have agencies purely for the pro.
Yeah.
Not for like their OnlyFans or anything like that.
Exactly. So you can go through an agency and you can be self-booking. I've done a bit of everything. So I've been with a couple different agencies. I've been lucky where I didn't have to be exclusive to one agency.
Yep.
And I've had agencies that got me no work whatsoever. I've had agencies that got me some work and agencies that got me lots of work, but most of what I've gotten has been self-booked, and it's like, it's networking, man. It's fucking networking.
Absolutely. I think as well, it's not just networking, it's social media. How big is your web? Because I feel like, I've had people contact me just because I'm in people's faces all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you don't have a social media presence and you're unable to be overseas at these like networking meetings or like meetups or parties or whatever it is, like it's very difficult to self-book and like have people like know who you are and give you the time of day in their DMs.
That makes a difference as well. Like I've met, or not even met, I've like listened to performers on stage at some of these what do you call them?
Awards nights, or like just like networking.
I'm like workshops, you know, like
Yeah.
what comes before the awards.
It's not conventions, no.
Yeah,
is that what you meant?
it's a convention, isn't it?
Well, the AVN is a convention.
And even XBiz is a convention.
I don't think so. I think it's just a awards night. Because
Okay.
I don't think they have like 3 days of like AVN-esque.
They do.
Do they? Where?
However, okay, so I've only been to the one in Amsterdam.
That's the difference, yes.
It's
'Cause the one
industry
in LA
only. So fans can't come in and talk to you. It's actually really cool because you just like go and watch people on stage, or it's all for us. It's all for us to network and stuff like that. There's even speed networking.
Yes, I actually know exactly what you're talking about now, because I was in LA when the XBiz Awards were on, and there was no convention around that. But then now that I'm thinking about it, I went to X3. Now is that XBiz run? Because
I think so.
Because that is a convention. So
Yeah,
maybe
I always
I'm
thought it
like,
was.
people at XBiz are like, how do you not know? But
XBiz, I'm so sorry if we're wrong. I just think that X3 is you guys.
Yeah, so I guess you're right that everywhere they do have an awards night, they have a convention attached to it.
Typically,
because the one in Miami, the XBiz Miami, is one that I would love to go to, and apparently that's also just for creators and for people within industry.
Yeah, and then there's a Jersey one as well. Joyzy, there's a Joyzy one as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've sat and I've watched people like on those stages say that, you know, oh, how do people get to work with you? And they're like, well, I only work with people that I've actually met in person. And then I'm like, okay. So it really does work in your benefit to get out there and shake hands with people and just like meet face to face.
Absolutely.
Not gonna lie, having the blue tick helps.
Absolutely.
It really helps. Like I am followed back a lot more when I have a blue tick than when I don't.
Yep.
But the trickiest part is when trying to like get the pro scenes is it's not always talking to the studio itself. Like I'm in the DMs of the studio and like they're not replying on that. It's actually like you need to find the producer or a director for that studio And that can be a little bit tricky, and that's through word of mouth.
Yeah, I think it's even trickier, or even because it's such a larger pool for the females in industry, I think you really do need to go above and beyond to find those avenues to like get in the people who are making the decisions mind before anyone else. But like, yeah, I feel like because there's just so little male creators in industry in comparison, like there's literally to give the viewer an idea, like there are literally thousands of like OnlyFans girls, and there's probably like
per one OnlyFans guy.
Yeah, well, that's a great way to put it. I was going to say against like 50 to 100 maybe worldwide. Like it's pretty. I didn't realize just how small the pool was until I started like going overseas and realizing like in the entirety of LA, there's like. I was looking at like who's working with who, and I was like, there really is only like 15 to 20 like dudes that are full time, not doing anything else. This is their job.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, fair,
like there
fair.
are definitely
there's definitely other male creators.
Yeah,
but the ones that have gone pro and are like, this is my
this
full
is
time
what
job.
I do
It's not my
for
side
a job.
hustle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not like doing other things. This is my job. Is like such a small number, which is like unsurprising because the amount of like buyers who are male to female who are into straight not gay is like is significantly different to if you were to do gay content as a male. What is up, people? Are you ready to elevate your health game? If so, then listen up. Introducing to you BLCKWAVE Supplements, your go-to destination for holistic supplements that cater to both men and women. Designed to optimize your entire system. Whether you're looking to enhance focus, libido support, or to revitalize your overall well-being, BLCKWAVE has got you covered. Head to their website, www.blckwave.com, and try their wide range of holistic supplements, ranging from their 2 flagship products, their cognitive support, Brain Force 1, designed to help skyrocket your focus as your productivity goes through the roof, and their male libido support supplement, Alpha Male, Male Enhancement, designed to help you unleash your inner beast. Ladies, do you also want to reignite some heat back into the relationship? Well, BLCKWAVE also offers horny goat weed to ignite your passion and help enhance your libido. And here's a cherry on top. Use my promo code WAVE20 at the checkout for an exclusive 20% off your purchase on the website. So what are you waiting for? Join the BLCKWAVE revolution today. Sometimes it can be easier to break into the pro circuit if you're a male just kind of doing everything right.
I can see that, especially swapping it the other way. Like, it was easier for me when I was doing collabs. It was easier for me to do a collab with a male than it was with a female, because the females just probably were so massive and they had so many like options to other girls to work with.
That or maybe like because I used to think the same thing. Like for me to go overseas, I literally had to like be in people's DMs, be in their comments. Like
it was hard. It's hard,
like,
wasn't it?
Imagine how many like men around the world who idolize the women that they see on P-Hub. Like, imagine how many of those have just tried a quick, hey, how you doing, baby? Or love your work on P-Hub. Just joked one out, whatever. But how many dudes are doing that to these girls with 2 million followers? Well, even with like 500,000 followers, how many?
Having a conversation with themselves in the DMs, yeah.
Exactly. And then like they probably look on their like message request. If they don't follow you, that you go to their message requests and then they look at their message requests at 8 p.m. at night and it says 197 and you go, you know what, maybe I'm just going to press delete completely on this thing, and then your message is lost. So I mean, I think it's very difficult to crack the market as a male. But once you do, like kind of like things start to snowball, But yeah, it's definitely like getting in contact with the girls is very tough. Purely because of that thing is that they just got such a flood of attention. Yeah,
well, like for me, when I got in the DMs of like pretty much any male content creator or performer, I got a response from them
instantly.
Yeah, and then I was like, sick. Okay, I got this. And then I started hitting up like really big names, female creators, performers.
Yep.
Nothing. And I was
zero.
Like,
yeah.
Oh. okay, so I'll just stick to the men then, but I wouldn't mind working with this girl.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also because like a lot of those really big names, maybe they don't run their own accounts. Maybe they have their agencies kind of half running their stuff and they take care of the messaging as well. Like you just forget how much work is involved when you're on like 6 or 7 different platforms. Like
or more, honestly. It's like ever growing. You think you're only on 6 and then you're like, oh, I forgot I'm on that one.
And then you're like, oh yeah, Blue Sky
yeah.
just opened up. I guess I'll get that account for no reason.
And then it's like, your friend just posted on Threads. And I'm like, oh, am I still on Threads?
Nah, yeah, exactly. No one's on Threads no more. Legit.
I keep getting notifications that other people are.
They keep trying to lure me in on Instagram. They keep like in my notifications on Instagram, they're like, check out what they've written about this on Threads. I'm like, no.
You might like this. And I'm like,
stop trying to do that to me.
I don't remember how to go there.
Exactly. I'm not interested in going there, Meta.
I lasted there a week.
Yeah, legit. But yeah, so you do a lot of you do a lot of content creation. What do you find the benefits between the two? Like, it looks like you've been doing a little bit more pro than like content style collabs recently. Like, is there a reason for that? And yeah.
I think I've been leaning more towards pro, and that's just because like it took me a minute to break into it, right? And so like now I've broken in a little bit, so I'm like, okay, keep going and see like how big can I grow in this, right? How far can I go within pro?
Yep.
And then like you and I have had this conversation off camera as well. It's like here in Australia, okay, you already said the male pool is really small in the world.
Yep.
Here in Australia, the male pool is even smaller.
Yep.
I used to work with all like anybody up and coming and be like, that's fine. Like you could have this many followers. You know, like for all I know, you could blow up and you know, I could take a chance on you now and you might blow up later and I might come up on you, you know, like you might become the next big thing. But yeah, my experience has been that like a lot of people don't actually stick to the industry. So I've kind of pulled back from collabs for that reason. And I'm just like, I'd rather work with people that have been in the industry for a long time that I can see that like that's the direction they plan on sticking with. And even if they do pull out, they're not going to be like, erase me from the internet because the internet's forever.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that is super annoying. Like, I will never not take someone's content down, but I don't have to be happy about it. Just so you know, everyone. So anyone who's like, he doesn't respect, I do respect it. I respect consent, absolutely, but you still.
I know. I'm bitter, but yes, of course I'll take it down. Yes, but but I'm bitter. But I'm not going to tell you I'm bitter, but I am bitter.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it is annoying. And as a business owner, I guess you always, like, I just try and compare it to other businesses. Like as a business owner, if you're like running a grocery store and then you realize theft, or no, like not even, because it's not theft. If you just realize that that your supplier no longer allows, like, or if the government says this certain chemical isn't allowed in your food anymore to a certain, to like 10% of your sales worth of like groceries, you're like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's tough.
Do you like how my brain's like, theft?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah,
I wasn't blaming them to be thieves. I was like,
it feels that way though. It does feel that way. It feels, but because I made that too. Like, we made that together.
You stole his. You stole my.
Exactly. But I think I also have come to the realization that, the content that I make with someone who might have, I don't even talk in follow counts, but who doesn't take it as seriously as I do. I just know from like anecdotally that there's like a 18-month to 3-year time span before they either get a, in quotation marks, real job, or they have to like clean their image up online for some reason, or they get married, or, whatever. Basically, I know that I've got this thing. So like for me, I'm like, as long as it lasts in my head, like, 18 months where I can sell it and we're all happy and I can go hard. I mean, I can let it go, but I've had girls, right, do full podcast, do the content creation, like the safe for work stuff, spend virtually 6 hours here, and then literally the next day after I've edited it and sent it to them, said, look, I've had a second thoughts about it, and I think it's going to affect my full service job to have this out. And I was like, dude, you couldn't have like, I literally, like,
Couldn't have thought about it a little bit longer and not been so impulsive about coming and doing this.
Yeah, I was like, look, I'm not here to, I
And then
didn't
they're
twist
like-
your arm, lady.
And then they're like, shut the up. You should. Oh, sorry,
Exactly.
I cursed. You should be lucky because most people would pay for this.
Exactly. And I'm like, dude,
They turn it back
I'm
around
like,
on
dude,
you.
it wasn't that good. Just so you know. They're paying for bullshit. But anyway,
No, they're
not that I'm bitter. Not you. I'm not talking about you. You're great. But,
All right.
but let's go on. So you're right. It is a very roll of the dice because I used to go into it with that kind of thought that like maybe like you do some videos with someone who then goes on to make it their career, but then you realize like there is such a small amount of people who actually make this something that they want to do full time, or they want to make their career, or they want to make a run at. Usually it's a quick buck. They're like, I'm going to get on, do XY videos with Apollo, whatever, 3 other names, and then I'm going to sell the of those, and we're going to get the out.
Delulu, it's not a quick buck. Just
It's
here to
not.
let you know.
Well, that's it. It's easy. Well, the thing is, it's easy to be delusional from like the news you hear about OnlyFans,
Yes.
because whenever people are in the news, it's never like the grind that's in the news. They're always talking about
How I made $1 million through selling pictures of my feet.
exactly. It's always like tabloid-esque headlines that are designed to make it seem like everyone who does OnlyFans is making $1 gazillion. But in saying that, that's like every like popular thing. Like if you look at basketball, the people who are in the news, like LeBron, like the people who are in the news are the people who are at the top of their game, who are killing it. So
Yeah. Same
like
with musicians. Same thing. Those musicians are struggling to get where they're at, even though
Yes.
they might be like, they might have songs that are out there. They might still be living at mom's house.
yeah, let's say entertainment in general actually
Yeah.
is one of those careers where only I would say the top 5% actually make money, but then only the top 1% are making enough money to like
Yeah.
live their lives in a lush way.
Yeah.
Even like if you're top 5% on like that website, you're probably not going to be making even enough money to cover your general lifestyle. You'd be surprised at what the difference between 1% and 5% is.
Huge. But
Huge.
I think that's because there's so many people on the platform that are
Definitely.
on there but actually aren't doing anything on there. So
Totally.
they make the percentage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then the
Because
difference
I've gotten
between
up to like a certain, I'm not going to use any numbers. 'Cause like,
Nah,
no
don't,
way.
don't.
But you know, I've gotten up there,
Yep.
and it's still not been very much. And then
same. I've gotten to a percentage before where I'm like, I thought when I finally achieved this number, it would be more money. But then you realize like there is like a epic gap between the people who are like earning.
because I think I've even been in the top one. I'm not sure about on OnlyFans. Maybe not on OnlyFans, but on Fansly, I think I was in the top 1% at one point.
I think Fansly's a little bit different though. Like no offense. Like like I have a Fansly and I can tell you the sales on there is like are not the same. It's like the B grade version of, not even B grade. It's just sorry, Fansly, I do really like you as a platform. No, it's more, it's a competitor that's a little bit weaker in promotion. Like it just didn't blow up the same way. And for some reason, OnlyFans was made famous for their adult content, even though Fansly arguably has a better platform, has a For You page, which has its own algorithm.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fansly, we cool.
On paper.
But in actuality, in users, I don't know what the actual stats are, but I know what the sales are, and I just do not see nearly as much traffic through my other platforms as I do through OnlyFans.
That goes for all the platforms, and it's wild because a lot of the platforms, like you said, Fansly with its FYP, its For You page,
Yep.
the content you're allowed to sell there is a little bit less strict than the content on OnlyFans. Like you can sell content, for example, just not content.
Yeah. That's so funny you say that, because I had a girl literally be like, hey, after our scene, she was like, hey, do you mind just like peeing on me? I'm like, sure, whatever you want. She's like, just don't do it in my mouth, but everywhere else is cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I was like, what's the deal? Like, obviously, like, it's totally fair for you not to want me to do it in your mouth, but why is that? And she was
Yeah.
like,
Can't sell it.
She was like, I can't sell it on Fansly if it's ingested.
Yeah, so
So
I think
as
if she
long as it's-
gargled it and if it came out, like maybe
I wouldn't even-
I don't know. I've never done that yet, but I will.
I had a mate of mine actually just lose his OF account for
I heard that.
Pure-
Yeah,
like not even like guised as squirting. Like it was literally just what you would normally see in like someone's. And that was, to me, I literally went back and deleted like 5, 6, 7 videos where that was like a theme of the movie. And I'm just like not going to sell those.
I've heard people getting in trouble for squirting.
And he's like a main dude. Like he literally is like one of the main dudes.
Did he get it back though? If he's one of the main dudes, he got it back.
He got it back, but without his followers at all.
That's what happened to me. I lost all my followers.
Yep. They literally said, we'll let you back on the platform, but it'll have to be from like a brand new start. Like that account's done. Start a new one, new name. And then you can start again.
I got my old name back and everything, but had to start from 0 followers. Yeah.
That's brutal because if the thing that people don't understand, they're like, oh, like how many followers did you have? Like let's just say you have 500 followers, right? Or subscribers. What people don't understand is that, yes, you might have 500, 1,000 subscribers. Yes, that is easy to bring back, you know, in terms of like how long you've had the account. If you've had it for 5 years, it might take you 6 months to get that back if you go viral on TikTok or whatever. What you can't get back that easily is we have things, I don't know about you, but I follow almost every person that is expired. So over 5 years, if I have, what people don't understand as well is that there is a big drop-off rate. Like people will come in, they'll literally see me and Coco in a short clip having some great times together, and then they'll come onto our page and say, hey, I want to see that video, which is like that clip you just put on Twitter. I'll send that to them and then they'll virtually disappear.
Yeah.
Like
they'll even delete their account and then they no longer exist.
Exactly. Or they'll just let the month run out and then they're gone. So for every like 10 people that come on, you probably retain 2 or 3, which means, you know, you've got 7 or 8 people that you can follow who are going to expire, but then they go into a list that then you can send your stuff to also. So I'll send my stuff at a discounted rate to the people who are subscribed.
Yeah.
But then I'll send another thing that's not discounted.
Higher rate, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Higher rate. Exactly. We're trying not to swear on this podcast. We're doing okay, actually, like considering. But like just to finish that off, yeah, I might have, you know, 10,000 people, 20,000 people on these expired lists that I can send it out to, which you'll get a few sales here and there. So that's what you're missing out on when you get your account deleted. And how frustrating if it's wrongfully deleted and you're just like, well, I guess everyone else can just do squirting content and I'll just go f myself.
Well, and you know,
fork myself.
It's not just me. And you know what else too, for that guy, the people who had previously bought his content on his deleted account, they've now lost that. Because when I got deleted, my people who had purchased my stuff
over the years,
they had lost it. But because I was given back that actual account, they were given back it. Now, in his case, the people who have paid for stuff and like maybe still will go back and watch the same videos because it's in their vault.
They still would have lost it. Yeah,
they've lost it fully, which is unfair to the buyer as well.
Super unfair. Well, it's super scary for like, I mean, I'm sure if anyone. I don't do anything specifically to get my account flagged. Like I really go out of my way to like follow the rules, but it's really scary when things like that happen because you're like, you know what, like there's a lot of things that probably on, you know, anyone's account, if they really scoured for it, they could probably find a reason.
And the rules change. And then
goalposts are always changing.
Yeah. Sometimes like I get flagged for something and I'm like, there's nothing in there. And they're like, computer says no. And I'm like, nah, I read every term. I know your terms of service back to front actually because I've read them that many times. Can't find it. But anyways, back to pros and cons of pro and OnlyFans.
Please.
I think the biggest one is like the pro of OnlyFans is, or like content is the collabing and stuff like that, is like that's yours to make money on over and over and over forever.
Yes.
Well, when you go pro or do a pro scene, you are paid one time for it only. And some people are like, you're paid royalties, right? And it's like, no, of course I'm not. You're paid per click? No, of course I'm not. The website is paid per click. So there's that. And so some people kind of argue like against pro scenes because they're like, well, you don't have the ownership. No. It's like, yeah, but you're getting the exposure from going pro. So I like to do a balance of both.
And what I'll tell people as well is like, yes, you do get paid like one rate, but then like if that video is for like a big company like Brazzers, for example, who have like something like 22 million followers on
they're going to trickle over to you.
Yeah. And then your scene happens to be one of their like viral scenes that's on the Hub front page for like 3 weeks and people are just watching videos of you doing your best work on like 4K on professional cameras with like some of the best and like, you know,
best and biggest
male performers in the business, like that does transfer over to OF sales. So like there is like people who are just kind of one dimensional with it. They're like, you know, you deserve more money from it, blah, blah, blah. But like you're doing it for the promotion. Like, and even as a man, like if I ever do pro, it's probably going to be like very underwhelming, the pay, to be honest. Men are just not
it's
the
less
same
for
value
guys, yeah.
in terms of money. So, I mean, like for me, it would be all promo. If I was to work for a big company, my idea would be, I want this to be a lit as scene. I want this to get onto like, you know, P-Hub front page and want this to be like one of those things that blasts me. You know, Riley Reid had this one GB that was her getting picked up by one dude, then like her and like 8 black dudes walk into a room together. Do you remember that scene?
I feel like I can.
And Riley Reid's like getting like
picture it. I don't
she's like hooked
remember
over
it
the
being.
shoulder.
I don't remember it being Riley Reid, but I guess I didn't put a face to the performer, but I feel like I can see the scene.
Well, there's this one that scene is like the one I always remember with Riley. Riley's done like, you know, gazillion scenes, and it only takes one for you to break through. And what I have realized with P-Hub is that so many people watch P-Hub that would never even tell you or even tell anyone that they watch P-Hub. So like for, you know, if you think a movie star is legit, like if you think like, you know, someone gets a movie in the movies in the cinema and they're like doing great, imagine someone who gets like 30 million views on P-Hub where like literally every second person is watching. Like P-stars are like legitimately celebrities. Like it's pretty crazy. If you put yourself out there on that website and something picks up viral, you'd be surprised how many people will see you.
Yeah. I also like a day on like set on a pro scene is just like for a girl, I just like show up and they do my hair and they do my makeup and I feel like I'm like
feel like a superstar.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, this is awesome. This is great. And then like halfway through they're like, okay, we're gonna break for lunch, and they're like, babe, do you need any lube? Babe, do you need any Red Bull? Do you need anything? And
Best.
I like it.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. Like that would feel really good.
Yeah.
That would feel really good. This episode brought to you by BLCKWAVE Supplements. Go to their website, www.blckwave.com, and get the best supplements known to man. So I've seen you gymming a lot lately on your social medias.
Really strong, right?
I mean, to be honest, I only ever see you like giving a thumbs up in a selfie at the gym. I never actually see you actually training, but I'm sure you do. But
you never
my question,
saw me lift weights?
not yet, but like, have you always trained, or do you follow like a strict weights routine? Like, what do you actually do in the gym?
I moved here to Gold Coast like 3 years ago, and I really think that like Gold Coast has no culture whatsoever. Our personalities are based on being tan, being tattooed, and going to the gym.
Yep.
So now as a Gold Coaster, I have to have all those 3 things. And I was already tan and I was already tattooed, so I had to get in the gym.
Absolutely. It's a prerequisite to living here, unfortunately.
So what do? I'm really lucky. Like one of my closest friends is super fit gym mommy. And I just let her boss me around. She's gym daddy. I'm gym baby.
Honestly, there's nothing better than like not having to think about the gym and just having someone be like, today we're doing 8 sets of these disgusting squats. And you're like, okay,
yeah. So
I'll be a passenger through this torment.
We basically like, I don't work out as much as she does. So I probably do like 2 leg days, an upper day. And then like, I'll show up on the cardio day, but like I might be sitting on the stairs while she's...
Yeah.
Which,
to be honest, like that is actually not a bad workout routine. Like if you do 2 leg days and an upper day, like hard.
Yeah.
And like a cardio day where you are just getting some movement in. I mean, like that's pretty good. Like for someone who controls their diet, that's pretty good.
The workout's insane. Like we'll do 4 sets of supersets. So that's 8 exercises. We're in the gym for like 2 hours.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
Like people don't and I'm sure there is some rest in there, but it's like with the bodybuilding training in particular, like the whole goal of bodybuilding training is to tear the muscle fibers up. Like that's the goal. Like it's let's tear it up now. Eat our protein and get our sleep, and then in 4 days we'll be set to do it again after some like pretty wobbly legs for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, if that's the kind of training you're doing, like
And
that's legit.
I've just discovered what is it called? Like Reformer Pilates or Pilates Reformer?
Yeah, with the machine, with the cables on it.
Fun!
I've never done it, but apparently it's pretty tough.
It is kind of tough.
What I will tell you is that I always ask the girls with the tightest coochies like what they do for exercise, and it's always Pilates. So like there are some girls in industry and not who like literally feel like they're putting my shaft in a choker hold.
That makes sense.
And Pilates is one theme I see through the whole thing. So women, if you want to have some like if you want to like a natural husband stitch, do Pilates.
Because there's pelvic floor stuff that's kind of like tied
Kegel
into Pilates.
stuff. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I can tell because like legit, like I'm not kidding. Like people who do weights and stuff, yeah, it's still like great, but it's like the next level where it feels like there's something like actually gripping onto you in an unhealthy way. You're just like
I can't get out. It's a Chinese finger trap.
Yes, exactly. Pilates. So yeah, cool. Reformer Pilates is apparently extremely hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna become a Reformer's Pilates girl. And then as far as diet goes, like I switch it up. I try and eat whole foods, healthy foods. I'm very much just like, I'm very much like a protein and something green person, and a crazy ton of caffeine in my life. Like there's a lot of energy drinks in there, and that's probably not healthy. I honestly, like years ago, I would be like, you shouldn't be drinking all those Red Bulls. It's going to harden your heart arteries. And now I'm like, oh.
But you do like the sugar-free ones, right? You do the sugar-free ones?
Yeah. Or like I'll get the amino ones and I'll be like, this is healthy.
Yeah, right. Totally. I'm lucky. I only go for coffee, but I still have like 5 coffees every day. So, I mean, but I also read a meta study a while ago, years ago now, when I was a personal trainer, that there was all these different studies on longevity and coffee intake, and apparently, like using a formula on there, they were like, this is how much coffee you can have without it having a negative effect, and it worked out to be 8 shots of coffee for me. It's actually such a large amount that I stopped worrying about coffee intake.
You were
as
like,
an
I'm not even
unhealthy
going to
thing.
reach that.
Well,
most days.
Yeah, and when I had like female clients who were worried about it, I would be like, punch your weight into this, like your lean weight, into this calculator, and it'll tell you how many coffees you're allowed. And most of the time, they'd be like, "Oh, this is like over the amount I would normally have before I like cut myself off anyway." I'm like, "Great, so stop worrying about it."
What about like pre-workout or creatine or anything like that?
This was coffee. So like
I know, but I'm asking like, okay, you said no.
Oh,
that's
me.
not what I mean.
Sorry.
I mean, you say you only do coffee. You're not really an energy drink person.
Hate it.
What about pre-workout or
Nah,
creatine?
don't take any. Creatine's different.
I want to know about creatine. I was
Would you like me to tell you about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, before you tell me about it, there was like the science girl that's also like an OF creator on Instagram, and she was talking about NAD Plus, and she was like, don't waste your money on NAD Plus. If you're going to do anything, do creatine. And now I'm like, tell me. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, creatine is really good for people who are wanting to build muscle. But it is also worked out to be a really good cognitive enhancer at higher levels. So there's 2 ways you can take it. That you can take it, you do a week of preloading at like 10 milligrams per day or 10 grams per day, and then you go 5 grams per day after that for the muscle saturation. Basically, creatine is a part of a reaction that happens when you're lifting. So for example, if I have a 100 kilo weight and I can do 3 reps, but on the 4th rep, I stop halfway. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I stop. Your creatine in this reaction is what is the fuel that makes this reaction happen, that helps you push the weight up. You've run out of creatine. So if you can have your creatine levels in your muscles saturated and have more available, you might get the 4th rep for 2 sets. So you've got an extra 2 reps that you would never have gotten at your max weight. And then you do that over and over again weekly for 20 weeks straight. Guess what? You look f***ing jacked compared to the person who you would have been if you didn't take the creatine.
20 weeks straight?
Yeah. If you did 20 weeks where you just were able to do 1 or 2 extra reps on every single exercise you did, leg extension, squats, bench press, seated row, and it's all because you're saturated with creatine, whereas you wouldn't have been before. That's going to create more muscle growth and a better physique over time. But then there's a next level to this, is where you would they've done studies on up to 25 grams of creatine per day totally safe to take.
No matter
and
what your size.
it's totally safe to take up to like 40 grams. They did this like test, they did this science where they like did it all the way up to like some crazy grammage.
Science me!
Yeah. So the 20, I think it was like 25 grams of creatine per day was enough to like noticeably change your cognitive function. So you can think better, process information better memory, all this stuff. So
I need that.
to me, creatine is the way. By the way, BLCKWAVE Supplements sells CreaWave.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually need to know.
But for real, creatine's f***ing great. I've just started taking creatine in a 20 to 25 gram load every day for like the last 2 weeks.
I love loads.
Yeah, absolutely. Coco Bae, everyone.
I'm getting on creatine immediately, and I better be jacked in 3 weeks, not 20 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it goes, though. Everyone like, well, the thing is, you would think like all these things that actually work, but are completely natural, like not a anabolic steroid or some sort of chemical made in a Russian lab. Like if it's just actual supplements, it is all very subtle and takes quite a long time. But like, you know, to me, it's like, I think it's definitely worth, like creatine is one of the only fully science-backed supplements that actually work.
Yeah,
that actually
that's
like,
what the internet is telling me.
Yeah, but in terms of pre-workout and stuff, I don't take any of that because it gives me the jitters. Like it actually makes me feel less good than just having like a double shot coffee and listening to some hard music, you know, which is kind of my pre-trainer.
Fair.
What advice would you have for a new content creator trying to do this full time?
Yeah. So I get this question a lot, and I feel like a lot of the time when I answer it, I don't know, looking back, it's almost as if like I've taken sort of like a negative thing. I'm like warning them of the things, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to give just that narrative. So the same old thing I've said on a lot of the podcasts is like, do your research, network, like, you know, like you and I were talking about earlier, like go and meet with people, shake hands with people, etc. But also just like, I don't know, make yourself a plan, give yourself a timeline and some goals that you want to reach, and just like make the best of it and like have fun with it. But also know that when you create that timeline and those goals, not reaching them at the exact time is not like something that knocks you down. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I am one step closer to that. And once I reach that, I know there's like the next step. So
that's such good advice because it is true.
It knocks you down.
Some people will legit just like skyrocket to the top with what seems like no obstacles whatsoever. And then other people, aka everyone else, will lose accounts here. Like you'll be like, oh, I'm killing it. And then you'll lose your Instagram. And you'll be like, oh, things are going great. And then something else will happen. You know, like it's not like, it is like any other business where you talk to any like proper businessman and they'll be like, you know, what people think I did. And it's like a straight line from A to B. And then they're like, what really happened in my business? And it's like a big squiggly line going all over the place from A to B.
And the truth of the matter is like nothing in life is linear. And we look at it, we visualize it all as linear. And like, even as kids, we're like, write a timeline, and the timeline is linear, isn't it? It's a line. Everything we've ever been taught is linear, and nothing is. It is literally this big squiggly mess of all kinds of mess ups along the way, but also like really beautiful experiences along the way. So just enjoy them too and cry when you need to.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I compare the progress of like business to the progress of the gym. This is going to sound really gym bro, but like back in the day, I'm really gym bro. Yeah. So. I don't know if you know, I'm gym as yeah, so when I was like 16, right, my big goal was like bench 100 kilos. Got to bench 2 plates because that's what fucking dudes do, man. And took me so long to be able to do like the 100 kilos through, you know, injuries, setbacks, not looking after my own recovery, trying to cheat code the system, you know, like with business as well as fitness, you realize very early on that the long way is the short way.
I hate that. And in life, it's the truth. And in life too, because like I'm such an instant gratification person.
Aren't we all? I feel like social media is creating that. It's boosting that bad quality. I think that is a bad quality to want everything now. I want to feel it now. I want to see it now. I want to see the progress. And once again, that's why fitness is such a great learner to delay the gratification. Because like everyone knows, if you start a diet, you start to see the results in 4 weeks. Other people start to comment on your results in 12 weeks. And that entire 8 weeks between the 4 and the 12, you're like, why the f*** is anyone saying anything? Am I even changing? Is it in my head? Am I going crazy? You know what I mean? So I feel like...
so bad for that.
Yeah.
Not the... Just the instant gratification overall. Yes. And I've been told over so many years of my life, like, that's not the route. Don't focus on the instant gratification. We got to go like the long route. And I'm like... Nah, not gonna happen. But guess what?
You learn as time goes on.
The only things that have been actually successful for me were ones that ended up being the long route, even though I didn't want to go the long route.
Absolutely. And I feel like with every successful person, they'll tell you the same thing. Like, you just kind of eat until you're not happy eating anymore, and then you start like seeing the results of doing things right, you know? So I think that's great advice, just to enjoy the process. Along the way.
And don't let the like kick downs kick you down too hard, because they're just always going to happen.
Yeah, because if you do
so much good in between, and we miss out on the good because we're so focused on the, oh, this happened, you know?
Yeah, and because especially for girls, I get my fair share of shadow banning as well. But there is like, it's not just like as simple as black and white. There is a gray area of like, maybe you put like a video that had a little too much in it, but you're still dressed, but that got shadow banned. It gets your entire account shadow banned. So it's like a frustration, I think, along the way of learning what is acceptable on what platforms, because by the way, every platform is different. What's acceptable on TikTok is different to Instagram. What's acceptable on Instagram is different to Twitter, and so on. So
that's funny, because I've known you for like a few years, and like we've had this conversation. We probably always end up having this conversation in one way or another. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I remember talking to you, I don't know, a couple of years ago while I was overseas somewhere. I think I was in Hawaii, and we were discussing, you were like, man, I'm so frustrated with my Instagram. I was frustrated over something, and you were like, I get it. I'm frustrated with my Instagram. And it's like...
Yeah. And it got me, like, because you'd probably remember this, like back in the day, a lot of my content was me virtually in Speedo or underwear.
Oh, yeah,
just dancing around being a goof.
No, it was always you coming out of the pool and it catching right on the edge.
Exactly. That was like my thing. It was like gold. Every time I posted it, would get millions of views. Exactly. So like my page was based around thirst around me, male thirst around me. And when they changed the guidelines, I was always on this like can't be recommended list. And I literally spent 6 months like nothing working because I refused to change. I refused to adapt. Yeah. And I just felt my mental health piling into like the toilet until like one day I like got up and I was like, something's got to change here. And I started like instead looking at like who was successful, and I was like, oh, a lot of the people who are like actually really successful, who are still hot people, don't actually show their body off that much. Like the Annie Knights, the Tasha Page, like they do a lot of talking on these platforms. A lot of like in clothes, not showing cleavage, just them telling, you know, sometimes horrific stories about dating and like, you know, weird things that happened in their life, and they just change the wording and make it so you can understand but it doesn't trip the algorithm. Yeah, so I said to myself like, all right, what I'm doing is not working. All those like funny like slow-mo coming out of the water, bulge exploding over the side of the pool, that now goes to Twitter and now I have to change my strategy. So I think for someone out there who's like, I'm new, what do I want to change? What do I want to make sure I'm willing to do when I start is like adapt.
Be willing to adapt, be ready to change with the times constantly.
Yeah, what worked today may not work tomorrow, and that's legit. Like that thing I thought was going to be my thing, as well as adding things onto it, but it just turned out over time it wouldn't let me do it at all.
Like
back in the day, I used to be able to get a girl to just twerk next to me in a bikini in like a baby pool with her ankles like just in water, and I would just do like a little boogie, and it would just be basically her twerking into the camera.
You just hold a postcard of like somewhere warm and tropical while you're like actually in the winter, dead of winter somewhere.
Legit, like it was. You could game the system. I think this is probably that's a good way to put it. Like you could really game the system more before AI. Now, TikTok and Instagram are they're very valuable if you can figure it out. But like, you have to figure it out. There is no longer ways you can like over-sexualize yourself on purpose. There's no way you can subtly show your body in like a very upfront and like, you know what I'm talking about. You can't like twerk into the camera in a bikini where you can see like the wrinkles of your chocolate starfish around the around the G-string. Like, it's just not something we can do anymore. But once you figure it out, like once you figure out your thing on Instagram, you're safe for work, and then you figure out your thing on not safe for work, like Twitter and Reddit.
Enjoy it, because it's going to change again.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but once you find it, at least you can be like, okay, small tweaks from here. I think the hardest thing when you first start is the finding what works for you. I'm still trying to find it. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I think the podcast is a huge step for me in like having something that's always like kind of ticking over for content. But like, man, before it's actually very difficult, especially because our whole thing usually for people who do what we do is aesthetics. So like to have the social media companies say, hey, we're going to make it so you can't show your body. Now what? Is like, only the strong
I have to have a personality?
Yeah, which we do, but no one really knows how to portray it, because I think we always feel like we have to be sexy. So it always has to be like a story that's like ridiculously like sexual about dating or whatever. It's hard to have these conversations in very short form on Instagram is probably where I'm getting at.
Which, funny enough, like, I find that my like most loyal subscribers are subscribers that subscribed because they might have followed me, like, honestly, like, they probably followed me before I even got into OnlyFans, because I was dancing or something like that. And I used to post, like, really, really candid stuff, because I used to, like, travel, van life, all that stuff. So, like, they got all sides of me. And they've also seen me go from, like, some dirty hippie with, like, dirty bottoms of my feet to, like, somebody that's, like, I will only stay in a 4 to 5 star hotel now.
Oh, you were like full hippie.
I was
Were
like...
you like dreadlocks, back of the van, like stoner, massive 4-foot bong in the back of the van sort of thing?
Yeah.
Am I like actually perfectly describing
no,
it?
like yes and no, bits and pieces at different times. The dreadlocks never, but like I could have washed my hair a little bit more often.
Did you live down near Byron Bay at that time?
Listen, I only van lifed in Australia for a very short amount of time. It didn't work out for me van lifing here. I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
I did it in Hawaii, and before that, I jeeped around Canada with my cat and my tent.
Dude, that would have been cold.
Winter time, no,
Not
we
so
didn't.
much.
We didn't do that in the winter.
Right.
We went.
It was all summer.
We were in dingy stripper motels during the winter.
Of course. What was your experience with stripping? So I assume that's what you were doing primarily before you started your online persona. Yep.
Yeah. I love. Because our experiences would be so different. Because very
different.
Right.
Male versions of it is very different.
Male version is very different, and also like I was a club rat, like I worked in clubs, I don't know, like I loved it. I started back in 2012. I was 24 at the time in Montreal. I got fired from a couple clubs back to back.
From why? Attitude problem?
Somewhat attitude problem. Ish. It was kind of like a mixture of them and a mixture of me. So
they were like, you gotta like have washed feet and not be like hippie. And you're like, absolutely not.
No. I only had dirty feet on my off travel time. Okay,
right.
I got 2 pedicures before going back into the club.
Yeah. All right.
I drank a lot back then.
Gotcha.
I was just a bit hectic and like out of control. But also it took me a while to learn that like in the clubs, unfortunately, like you don't matter all that much to management. So you have to kind of like find the fine balance. And I didn't know what the fine balance was, because I was like, what do you mean I don't fucking matter? I'm not the piece of gum on the bottom of your shoe. And I was a piece of gum on the bottom of their shoe. So I'd get mistreated and I'd stand up for myself, which why wouldn't you?
Yep.
But also I'd be drunk when I was doing it. And I also like got in trouble in the first place semi because of some drunkenness, also because so I don't know. But yeah, I loved stripping. I stripped all across Canada. I've stripped a bunch of other places. I was stripped all across Australia as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So after getting fired from those 2 clubs, that's when I started to be like
A bit more serious about it.
No, actually, that's when I learned.
That's when I went really out of control, spiraled for years.
I did. I really, really did, but it was fun. I learned then, you know what? I don't need to be a house girl. I don't need to belong to this club. Because
You can just be the guest.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So I learned travel, strip, and don't stay long enough to burn any bridges. And so they always still liked me to get me to come back.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to travel all over the place. It allowed me to fund myself
And
to
it
travel.
allows you to have your boundaries. Like, it allows you to, like, not be treated like dog like as much because you're the guest. You're the high. You're not the like the.
I was never like I was not even like I was never a feature girl or anything like that.
Okay.
I was just like a random traveling through temporarily kind of.
In my
girl.
head, I was like, oh, she's like the one where it's like,
Nah.
come see Coco this weekend.
Never became the feature girl.
Gotcha.
Actually didn't even know how to work the pole for like the first several years.
Dude, there's so many girls that I've met over the years who, through this work, who also were strippers, and they're like, we don't do any pole. Like,
I didn't do any
some
pole. I was
don't,
hot.
some do.
I
Yeah.
was like, what do you mean I'm hot? I don't need to do the pole. But in West Coast Canada, that's like really feature girl oriented. So when I went to the West Coast, I was like, I got to learn how to do this.
Are you any good? Can you do it now?
I can. I'm not incredible.
I guess that's not your shtick right now anyway, so.
I still have a pole in my house. Some people would watch me and be like, wow, that's amazing. While somebody who actually like is really good would be like,
Well, that's pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I guess that's, I don't know, like, I don't want to like burst the bubble for male strippers, but most of us are pretty mediocre dancers. I don't want to freak anyone out with that bold statement.
But you know how to gyrate your hips, and that's what
know how to
matters.
gyrate our hips, know how to do what we got to do.
You know how
Few
to like
power
flip
moves.
us upside down and then like pull us by the hair or do that thing where like, yeah,
girls just like to be manhandled, so it seems. Like the girls like
pick us up.
Literally, if you can pick a girl up, flip like do some sort of flippy thing with her, and she ends up in a provocative position with you, like she's usually pretty happy. But dancing, not our strong suit. So like the fact that you weren't like the best on the pole, you're the best on the pole right now, though.
Huh?
Flesh pole, male pole.
I was like,
But yeah, ching straight over our
working
heads.
my way up.
It's all right. But yeah, we're working our way to it. Tell me, what's your experience been trying to date while in industry? And did that change from when you were a stripper to when you started to do videos?
So when I stripped in the beginning years, I wasn't like consciously dating or like I wasn't dating intentionally. Like I was very much just like I was on the move so much that I would just have like a man in every city that I traveled through, and they knew that it was casual and it was cool, right?
Yep.
Later days, I like had a couple experiences where I tried to date, and both the times those people were, or actually no, there was someone in the industry too. I forget about that one from time to time.
Nice. How'd that go? Was that different experience, someone in industry compared to outside of industry, or was it the same problems, so to speak?
Similar problems, I guess. That I wasn't in that relationship for long enough to really like. Yeah, I really I don't know. I wasn't in it long enough to compare it, to be honest. But yeah, so mostly my experience has been with people out of the industry while I was in the industry.
Yep.
And the same problems come up for me, which is in the early days, they're okay with me being in the industry. And then as time passes on, like insecurities and stuff like that start to come up, and they kind of start to chip away at the relationship. And so, yeah, it does make it really hard because like I've been in relationships where I was really like, I wanted that to be like, I wanted a future with that person, but at the end of the day, I couldn't have a future with that person while I was in this industry, and I didn't want to give up the industry for the relationship.
People at home, and it's wild to me that there is a percentage of people listening to this who probably be like, well, you should have just given up the industry if you really wanted it.
And
I'm
I did.
That's such a
in
way
one
to
case,
think, to be honest.
Yeah, in one case I did, and I boiled up a lot of resentment towards that person as well as towards myself.
Yep.
So that was not the answer for me. So then the next time I was like, I put that boundary down, like I'm not going to quit the industry. And like we just couldn't make it work, unfortunately, and it's you know? So,
is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what? As someone who has dated whilst in industry with other people in industry, like it's hard to even understand as someone who's in it. So like on a primal level, like there are things and like feelings you feel that you don't even like you're not even in control of. Mm-hmm. And if I was outside of industry and I didn't know that like the cute video I made on Instagram to look super cute and in love with each other or whatever, and then like literally as soon as the camera goes off, we're just like, cool, scene,
Yeah.
Cut, good job, high five, don't even kiss, high five, let's go do something else. You know what I mean? Like, like if you don't see that, you only see the highlight reel as someone who isn't in it. And then you're like seeing it get millions of views of like, you know, it
As
is
an outsider
extremely
watching
challenging.
that, it's hard for you not to believe exactly what the narrative of that reel was supposed to give out to the public.
Exactly.
You know?
It takes like a lot of being able to listen to the angel on your shoulder as opposed to the devil on your shoulder. I think that's a good way to put it, because there is like someone in your head that's like, it's totally faked. Absolutely fake. Nothing is going on there, like, obviously. And then there's another.
Like, she wants him. Yeah, exactly. They want each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like not even like, oh, you jealous. How dare you? It's like I'm not even in control of it, dude. That's the conversation that kind of happens. And I can understand how much crazier and more intense that would be if you didn't have any insight. So, like, I'm not surprised that, like, a lot of the big girls are like taken, or they've got like relationships of their own or long-term relationships. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the people who are in like very successful seeming long-term relationships, they're all long-term. Like, a lot of people that I've seen haven't really established great relationships whilst in industry. That I've seen, or maybe they have. So I'm sure there's someone out there.
It's not always public.
Yeah, I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, absolutely have. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But the ones that I see of like my friends or like people in industry that I see like post each other online, it's always like quite turbulent. Or it's like it's tough. Like, I think it's like if there's a 50% fail rate of regular relationships, there's got to be an 85 to 90% fail rate of like SW relationships.
Which sucks. So it's so heartbreaking, but I'm still gonna always have hope. I'm gonna be a lover girl at heart one day.
Yeah, I like being in a relationship, if I'm honest.
I do.
People look at me and they're like, oh, you must be such a F-boy, like straight up, like not even capable of being in a relationship. I'm like, actually, most of my dating life in my life has been long-term relationships.
Yeah. With
like some heavy F-boyish behavior in between, like, to be honest. So, I mean, like, but even right now, like, people must think like they might have this persona of me that I'm like flat out dating. Like, when I'm not working, I'm like going to like sex parties and like doing this and doing that and on Tinder and that and this and the other. And you'd be shocked to hear that I just basically
stay home with your dog.
Yeah, stay home with my dog, cook myself some delicious meals, try get extra sleep, and play Call of Duty with my brother and his friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like the perception is so much different to what it really is.
But I go through phases. Like, I know, like, I've been through phases where I was like, well, I like being single. I wouldn't even want to be in a relationship. But then it's like when you have the relationship, you're like, ooh, this is so nice.
When it's good, it's good. But like when it's bad, you're like, the idea of giving up peace and what I do right now, considering like the loneliness might be a little bit, I can deal with that, compared to being in the wrong relationship, dealing with all these issues and like having to try and like maintain my mental health while everything's kind of falling apart in my personal life. Like that, the idea of that is just like, it's enough for me to be like, I don't want to date right now. But
it's a fair thing. It's like, I don't want to date right now because I'm scared.
Exactly. But one of my friends, right, he just started seeing this new girl. And he's like, we're seeing each other every night. We're literally like going to ice cream dates like 4 or 5 times a week. We're watching movies. We're basically all the time. It's awesome. She's totally infatuated with me. I'm totally infatuated with her. And I'm listening to her and I'm like, I'm so happy for you, bro. But I'm like really jealous, like in like a respectful like way. Like I miss that. The honeymoon period is lit.
I wish it would stay that way. I was just saying, somebody asked me a relationship question in another podcast this week, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, my therapist told me that like there's this thing that happens, and again, I haven't looked it up to get it right, but anyways, there's this thing that happens like after a certain period of time where like it is basically like a honeymoon stage type scenario, and then like after a certain amount of time something switches off.
Definitely does. I don't know what it is. It definitely does. Like in every one of my relationships, like it's not like anyone who says they're in the like actually. I
want to be forever in the honeymoon phase.
I was literally about to say anyone who says they're in the honeymoon period all the time. But now that I think about it, literally no one says that because it is totally natural to have that like huge infatuation and then have it drop, unfortunately.
Although there is like also, I like the comfort in the comfort phase as well.
What's the comfort? Oh, the comfort phase comes after, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, well, the thing my therapist told me was not about honeymoon and comfort. It was literally like from honeymoon to like changes of values and beliefs. So that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I like being past the honeymoon phase too. I like being in the comfy phase.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
One
If there's any
day.
ladies out there that think you'd be a good fit for me, just hit me up.
If there's any men out there that you think would be a good fit for me, I'm really scared right now. So no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore your DM. Speaking of like, while we're on the topic, how do you manage your mental health when surfing the inevitable ups and downs of industry and personal relationships while in industry?
Oof. Listen, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I actually just wrote an article on it for XBiz, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
I got to be a writer for once.
Yeah.
But the irony of it was when I wrote that article, I was literally in a downward spiral.
Right.
And I remember writing it and thinking like, oh, I'm such a f***ing hypocrite. Like, I can't even get myself out of the burnout right now.
But on the other side of the coin, you could have probably really well described the feelings of when you're down, what it feels like, how to get out of those, in the past.
The thing was, as I was writing it, I felt like a hypocrite, but at the same time, it put it out there in front of me like, oh, I have the tools. I know the tools. And I was like, I don't know if I'm in a place to even put them into action. But funny enough, after I wrote it, I did start to put them into action.
Yep.
So like subconsciously it got in there. So how do I navigate it? I don't always navigate it. Sometimes I do like crash and burn and just like get in my bed and spend some time in bed for way too long until I'm like, you can't be this gremlin anymore. You have to come out into the world.
Yep.
But exercise for me is huge. Like I have to move my body. I feel so much better when I'm moving my body. I have to. And even if it just means like getting out for some walks, literally like, yeah.
Exercise is medicine when it comes to mental health, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, if you talk to any therapist, they'll be like, if you're feeling down, go for a walk. Like, they don't even say do the hard training. I say do the hard training too, because the harder the intensity, the higher it kind of brings you up mentally. But you obviously have to be in a mental state to want to hurt physically, like in a productive way, not
you have to be hurting enough
like
to
that.
want to hurt the other way.
Yeah, exactly. There's like two ways, and we're talking about like productive. So I mean, I've been through like huge breakup before, and I would be guilty of over medicating with physical exercise, but that's way better than over medicating with alcohol or over medicating with things that don't serve you, like these codependent relationships that you inevitably get in instead of doing the healthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah. So moving my body, huge. Also just like not getting into that whole like comparing yourself thing of social media, which
so huge.
We're all doing, right?
Totally.
And one of the ways I've been able to frame it is like I might be looking at somebody who's bigger than me or doing better than me, apparently, in my eyes.
Yep.
Somebody else is also looking at me in that same way. And that person that's looking at me in that same way, somebody else is looking at them in that same way. Do you know what I mean? We're all working towards something. So stop doing the comparing. And it's just like, for me, it's a lot of just like healthy lifestyle stuff. Like try and get your circadian rhythm in order. Try and eat healthy. Take breaks. Yeah.
Great.
It's like really like simple basic stuff, and it's like the simple basic stuff is really the hardest sometimes.
I was about to say, it sounds really simple when you put it on paper, like, oh, just rest, just eat right, do some exercise, sleep a bit more. Don't be on your phone until like the second you close your eyes. But then me too. But then like when you get really stressed, I feel like the stress forces you to kind of ignore the basics for some reason, actually another personal training thing, like because when you're stressed, you're technically in fight or flight. Your body doesn't want to let you have a long sleep, so you have broken sleep because you're waking up because you're in fear of attack.
You go into freeze and your body's just like, I'm gonna sleep all the time. That's me.
Really?
Yeah.
When you're stressed, you sleep even more.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
Yeah. I'll hibernate.
Wow.
You know I go in and out of hibernation
I do know
all
that.
the time. That's what's happening.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like one of those depressed people who, like, when you're depressed, you're like
sleep
close
time.
Sleep.
Oh,
close
put the blinds down. Yeah.
See you in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
right.
there's a lot of sun in my apartment, so I have to learn how to be like, you know what? You're just gonna put the blinds up today and not be like.
Yeah. Good. It's a good start.
It's like the first step before I'm like, okay, then I'll go out onto the balcony today.
Are you a?
And then the next day I'll be like, a walk.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got your system.
Yeah.
Love that. Are you a bad food eater? Like when you're stressed, when you're not feeling your best, do you like eat junk food?
Yes and no. My thing is that like I find functioning at like the very basic level that like, human beings function at, and what I mean is like get up, cook yourself food, do laundry, like those everyday things to be really like difficult when I'm like depressed or burnt out. So the fact that I have to cook for myself will get really difficult.
Yeah.
So I might like resort to Ubering or something like that. And then I'm like, okay, don't do that. If at the very least, just resort to like these, these microwavable meals,
Yes.
which are not really the answer for me because I'm supposed to be gluten-free. And it's hard to
Gotcha.
find microwavable meals that are gluten-free other
Those
than like
muscle chefs, I think, have a pretty good
gluten-free range.
gluten-free range, maybe.
They're not like marked on the thing. Gluten-free. You have
That's
to
probably
like
a problem for you then.
I probably have to get the app to let me know.
Yeah.
I just,
Those are good though. Like whenever I
Yeah.
talk to people about like how hard it is to get in shape, yeah, it's still very hard. But like the tools normal people have now to be more prepared and to save time on their, healthy habit preparation is so good.
Yeah.
It's like you could get all of your meals in edible fruit and vegetable form. You could get pre-chopped vegetables and dips that are in like a
Yes.
plastic container you can buy from the shops. You can get all your vegetables chopped. If you're like, I don't want to chop pumpkin because it hurts my elbow.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can buy chopped up pumpkin in a bag. So like right now, or if you don't want to cook at all, you can buy these Muscle Chef meals that say bold on the front, 65 grams of protein, 12 grams of fat, 52 grams of carbs. You scan the barcode into your calorie
Fitness
counter
app.
and you literally, if you did like that kind of day, it's really, when you look at it that way, like it's very easy to stay in control if you want to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. When it comes to like, do I eat like I try and fall back onto these microwavable meals if I'm falling into that sort of.
That's a smart way to do it, for
but
sure.
I do love like sweets and chocolate, so that's dangerous.
What's your like guilty pleasure? Like what's your favorite thing? If you were to go to the shops right now and be like, I'm going to watch a movie and get one item of confectionery, what am I going to get?
Lately, I go through phases. Lately, I've been digging the Reese's Sticks.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, I know the
I like
ones.
to throw them in the freezer though.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll go through like a Bueno phase.
Yeah, yum.
And then sometimes I'll just like get the Lindt dark chocolates.
That's
Yeah.
like the healthy person option. I don't do that because I'm always disappointed. And
Is
I
it
want.
healthy?
I would say it is like the healthier option of like that's what I used to do when I used to like
Guilt free?
guilt free. Be like, I'll get some like 75, 80% dark chocolate. Then I would like not really enjoy it and be like, I just wasted that.
It's so good. What do you mean? You got to get the flavored ones, the fruit ones, instead of like the orange one. There's a fig one. The fig one's amazing.
That is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
It is. But like compared to like if you got like the giant Kit Kat or something, to me, like that's so much better. You know what I mean?
Okay, this is what I do.
Go on, please. Here we go.
I think I'm making chocolate milk in my mouth, and I'm not. I'll break off a piece of the Lindt chocolate, throw it in my mouth, start chewing it, take the almond milk, shake it, and start drinking.
Are you lactose intolerant?
I just don't like milk. I think it's disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you like jizz?
But I'm not sure about bukkake yet. Anyways, they're totally not the same.
No, they're not. You're right. You're right.
Shake up the almond milk, put it in my mouth, and then start chewing the chocolate.
Yum. That's actually.
And I think
yeah.
it's making chocolate milk in my mouth, but it's
Kinda
not
is,
because
though.
the almond milk is cold, so it's actually just hardening the chocolate as you go. But it's delicious.
Actually sounds good.
It's
Actually
really
sounds
good.
So
Yeah.
good. There's no difference between like that to me, like because I like a cup of milk with cookies. Like I really like
The
like,
dipping?
not even like just
Okay.
drinking milk in between my cookie bite. Like
yes,
I
yes,
love
yeah.
cookies. Like not just like store bought ones. Like those like gourmet big thick is where you open them up and they've got like goo and shit on the
Oh,
inside.
yes. Okay,
Anyway.
well, I call myself a trash gremlin. I'm probably just like a fridge gremlin.
Yeah. Can you tell I'm dieting right now? I'm just like obsessing over this food. Do you ever get recognized out in public?
I haven't had people come up to me in public. But sometimes I'll get like messages in my social media afterwards being like,
That's
oh,
so
I saw
weird.
you while I was out, but I didn't want to
Nice
say
jeans.
hello.
I saw you at this street. And you're like,
You know,
that's bizarre.
They're never really creepy the way that so far the ones that I've gotten have never really been
Well, that's
creepy
nice.
in that
That's
way. They've literally just been like, I saw you. I didn't know whether I should say hello or not, but they still wanted to let,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that's fine. And honestly, like if somebody saw me in public and they said hello, it could go either way, like it's nice.
I love a respectful and like non-intrusive acknowledgement between two people. I'm a big fan. Like I had a guy the other day, didn't even look at me. He just was at the supermarket as he was walking past me. As he was walking past, he goes, "Apollo Show, love your work, mate. Keep doing it." Didn't even look at me. Just like in earshot, walked straight past me. So I mean, like that kind of stuff that pumped me up for the rest of the day.
I think for me, like, I feel a lot of the time when I'm out in public, like, I don't look my best, right? And I also have social anxiety. So in that sense, I'm of two minds. In one, it's like...
You're like, don't look at me. I'm ugly. And also, people scare me.
I'm so scared. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like... I think it's nice if somebody stops and says, hey, love your work. Like, of course I'd love the recognition. But at the same time, I'll be like, thank you so much.
I actually
Yes.
never thought of this until recently, but because I used to think, oh yeah, you love my work, my Instagram. But then I went the next level and I was like, everyone who acknowledges me in the street has seen my yeah, like for real. Naturally you're like, oh, they've seen my Instagram because that's where I get most of my views. But then in your head you're like, where have they gone from your Instagram? Straight to your Twitter, then probably to your OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's funny. When you think of it that way, you're like, all these perverts, all these normal people disguised as perverts when they look at me. So funny. What are common mistakes that you see men making in the bedroom?
I've touched on this before. Not scrubbing underneath their fingernails.
Ooh, one.
Yeah, I wish everybody would scrub under their fingernails. Other than that, oh, I know. So, like, squirting. People are all like, oh, squirting, gotta make a girl squirt. That's, like, their end game. And it's like, it doesn't have to be their end game. And so, like, dudes will, like, watch these videos on how to make a girl squirt, and they're like, I'm gonna do that. And they get, like, really aggressive in their, like, fingering to try and make you squirt. And to be honest, like, that doesn't feel good unless you're properly warmed up for it. And my body actually doesn't really love it anyways.
I used to think, as a amateur young man in the game, I used to think that squirting equaled heavy orgasm. So I used to think, like, I'll do this maneuver, make the girl squirt, and she'll. But then I was rudely awakened to the truth, which is that is just a knee-jerk response, and the squirt doesn't necessarily mean that she's. Doesn't even have to be associated with pleasure, actually.
Right.
So, like, you can make that happen while she's, like, kind of in pain from what you're doing.
Yes.
And, it's probably not great most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, like, not most. As long as you've warmed the person up, it might be great.
That's a good point. Sorry, I didn't mean, like, it's not great all the time. What I meant was if it's not, like, at the right time, done when she's properly warmed up, it's like, it's the equivalent to, like, sticking your dick in without lube.
Yeah. You're like,
you got to get
goal.
you got to get to, like, a certain amount of lubrication and stimulation for that to be, like, something you want to do immediately. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Those are it. Yeah.
Yeah. What trends have you seen in bedroom escapades over the years?
Okay. So right now I feel like a lot of, and actually it's been for a few years, everyone's eating or having their eaten. More and more guys are eating. More and more guys are having their eaten.
That's actually very accurate.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That one's like become kind of like
Dudes are getting more.
it's almost falling into what is now like vanilla.
Normal. Yeah. Dudes are getting more accepting of, like, making their unrestricted area.
Yeah.
Or non.
It's still no entry, but
Yes.
it's like.
But it's like, hey, we can, like, it's a playground.
Yeah.
We're not going to dig into the playground, but we can play on the forts outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
that one probably, I don't know. That's the one that's really coming to mind right now.
Yeah.
I guess, like, probably, like, as
Yeah.
well. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like never used to be quite as much as they are now.
You know what I feel like? I feel like the easy access to corn in general has changed the what is a standard BJ in real life, not like just performers' lives or what you see on screen. I feel like it really has changed how just normal girls give a BJ.
Which is kind of too bad in a sense because like is cool and all of that, but like I don't have a I don't know what it feels like, but I from giving my entire adult life, I was under the impression that the other parts of were also quite enjoyable, but I have found like more and more I'll meet people that like go straight for the and stick to the throat, and I'm like, all right, this is cool, but like my throat's taking a beating right now, you know what I mean? Like, can I just play with your shaft in your head? Can I give you like a nice slow motion? That's fun too, isn't it? Isn't it?
I'm not a huge guy. Like to be honest, I love hand jobs, but
really
like
hand jobs.
Hand jobs.
Okay.
I like an edging hand job. It's so fucking hot. Like I like to feel like I'm about to pop and then like have them like back off. But in terms of like a regular, I don't know what it is. Like whether it's I don't know. Like I've only had like a few girls be able to like get me to finish from a alone. So I mean I do enjoy that stuff as like the filler in between, but yeah, it's like I don't know, like unless you're really there's girls that I've met that I'm like I could just get a regular from you because this feels great. Yeah. Because they've got like great technique with their hands as they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it like actually feels amazing. And you're right, that does feel great. But like, yeah, feels fucking amazing.
And see, I look at it as like is the filler in between because you need the to get the sloppy toppy like stringy spit, to be honest. Like I can't get that going unless
you're doing that. yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because like the culture has totally changed around like oral, to be honest, because
my
like
throat hurts.
Yeah, well back in the day, like back in like our parents' generation, like the idea of getting like doing that anything outside of super vanilla was like special occasion sort of thing.
True.
So like I feel like the youth of today, adult youth of today, is very spoiled because they're growing up in like an unprecedented time in our entire society where everyone's kind of growing up on this like different, on very accessible like people doing it professionally like we do. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's good and it's like very interesting to like see how it's like manipulating how it's done. Like I'd still rather be like having like great with people who are like whatever the implications are on like how people interact with. I feel like doing it more in a way or a corny way can that does feel better. Like
really,
I
sex is better for you.
Not in like. I mean,
like imitation of is better for you.
Yeah. But what I will say is that the way I do it is that mine is still quite sensual. So like the way I do it on camera is very similar to how I do it in real life. Like I'm not like one persona doing it one way, like hardcore in like on camera, and then I'm like another way. It's just like when I'm at home, there's way more kissing. There's a lot more being intimate. I'm still going hard.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about the angles.
Yeah, but I'm still like rattling this girl like I would in a scene. Like that's how I enjoy doing it. But it's the intimacy is still there. I think that like the intimacy is the key. Yeah. Like as long as you're still like making out, kissing, connecting together. It's more when like one party is like not even in the room. You know what I mean? That's when it probably becomes like a problem. And I was actually talking to Carly Electric about this when we did our podcast. She was saying like a lot of people that she actually sees, a lot of men that she sees for work, like younger dudes, like 20 to 25, will almost be like closing their eyes, like imagining what they're seeing online, not being like in the room in the moment. So yeah, I think that like corn sex, the way I do it anyway, like I think it can be really connective if you want to make it that way. I think it can be really disconnected and feel really yuck if you wanted to also.
Yeah. Or if you're not self-aware.
Well, yeah, that too. yeah, exactly. What promotional tools or platforms do you use and what do you find most effective?
That's like not my strong point.
No?
It really isn't my strong point. I'm comfortable on Instagram. Yeah. I've become comfortable on Twitter. I'm comfortable on Snapchat. I'm comfortable on OnlyFans. anything else, like, you know how we talked about, like, oh, you got to adapt, you got to learn to change. Like, it takes me a minute to catch up on that change.
Yep.
And I really haven't caught up on that change on a lot of the other platforms. So I don't know.
Do you use Reddit? You Reddit girl?
I have Reddit. I have an issue with one of my Reddit accounts and had to make another one. Yeah, I use Reddit. I use RedGIF. Actually, RedGIF's pretty cool.
I was actually shocked at how many views my RedGIF was getting.
Yeah, I think people don't like, it's kind of forgotten about. I like RedGIF, and then like the tube sites. The tube sites, people who are like so OnlyFans focused are like, oh, tube sites. I'm like, what do you mean? So like P-Hub videos.
I don't use XV. The only one I've started using is P-Hub, and I've seen big results from that.
I have issues with my videos right now, and it's just in the too hard basket, but I'll tell you, X videos when I wasn't having issues with it was really good, and I just need to get it out of my too hard basket and get onto it. Yeah, I would suggest that one for sure.
That's the real problem as a creator. Hey, like there is so many avenues to promote that you kind of have to petition your time in such a way that you're like, all right, what can I actually afford time-wise to add to the repertoire?
My problem is that like I am so like I can only focus on one thing, it seems. So it's like if I'm putting my energy into my Instagram, I forget to put energy into all my other things. If I'm putting my energy into Twitter, I forget about all the other things. And so I do that a lot. By the way, videos feeds into a bunch of other tube sites like RedTube and all that stuff. So it's really good for, I definitely.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And then they also have a paid section of it. Like I think it's called Share.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it the same as P-Hub where you can just tag other creators on there?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into it.
Oh, I'm also on ManyVids. I like ManyVids.
Oh, I really, you know what? I used to think ManyVids was not that lucrative until I started to treat it seriously and post schedule things to post as they go, just like OnlyFans. And guess what? It starts to get good sales. I went from getting like what I would suspect would be like 2 sales a month to getting like a sale every other day, 2 sales a day, 3 sales sometimes.
Yeah. The cool thing is like you just post it and forget about it, as opposed to like OnlyFans where you got to be there to chat with people and all that stuff. You can chat and stuff like that on your ManyVids, but like
I treat it the same way I would treat going to Blockbuster Video. For anyone young in the room, a video store where you literally just go to this location and you look at the wall where all the videos are displayed and you go, oh, I like the look of that video with Apollo and Coco Bae. I'm going to buy that. $24.99. Click, buy, watch it, leave the site. It's not you have to subscribe, you have to ask for the content, you have to tip and then wait for it to be sent to you. It is just a video store, which I think is great for the creator. If you're someone who's a creator and you're like, how can I add more revenue to my business without having to do any extra effort? ManyVids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight up. It's like a little bit of effort in the beginning, upload the consent form, upload the video.
It's a slow upload. The video uploads really, really slow.
But, you know, if you're smart, like I try and be with my time, if I do an admin shift of like 5-6 hours with my admin girl, I'll literally just set 5, 6, 7, 8 of those videos to upload, and then they're done by the time our shift's done, and then we're like set to go.
It's so funny. When I put like my most energy into my ManyVids and videos actually was when I was recovering from my job, and it was like days after recovering from my job, and I remember I was sitting up in like the hotel room and I would like upload some things and I'd be editing and I'd be like and just like fall asleep on the sleeping pills and then wake up and be like, oh, it's uploaded. Okay, yeah.
That's actually a perfect way to do it.
And then I do some more editing, some more uploading, fall asleep, wake up to it.
It's like, oh, this is perfect way. It's like a hack the system.
Job recovery was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Just sleep the loading phase out.
Yeah.
In your experience, what makes men's spunk taste good? And what foods should men be moving towards to make it more pH friendly?
I love science. I don't actually know. I've tasted so many different men's spunk and they've tasted different from different people. And I do know there's been times where I've been like, your spunk, we'll call it, is like it's so neutral. Like it doesn't really taste like anything, which for me, like that's my favorite.
Yep.
Is the neutral.
Yep.
And then there's been like people that I've been with, and it's been like almost like a bitter taste. And I've been like, where does that come from? And then I'll be like, they're super muscly. Maybe they're on steroids. Maybe this, maybe that. But I don't actually know why it is or what it's from. And
I've asked this question of a lot of girls, and usually it can be things that you ingest that aren't necessarily bad food. So like food, yeah. If you're a super healthy eater, apparently that helps. If you eat a lot of junk food, that definitely makes it taste worse. But what makes it taste really acidic, apparently, is cigarettes, vapes, heavy vaping, and like antidepressants.
amphetamines.
I was literally going to say like the like legal. Like anything that you take that like I worked with this girl, she was telling me about her ex. She's like, my ex used to have huge loads, but he was on like a triple dose of this like, you know, ADHD and like depression medicine, and it was like acid rain. She'd be like, when he was about to come. Like for real. Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm always curious about that, but I've never like anybody that has had bitter tasting spunk, I haven't really like been with them or known them well enough
knowing their lifestyle. Yeah.
But I've speculated and been like, are they on steroids?
Yeah. Well,
what did they eat today?
Yeah. Well, who knows? Like, you'd be surprised. Like, side note, you'd be surprised how many people are actually on steroids. Like, when
I thought you were gonna say on. I was like, I know it's Australia.
Yeah. Well, also like antidepressants and stuff. Like, you'd be surprised how many people are just medicated in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And steroids. That's
Every gay dude that I ever trained as a personal trainer, whether he looked like and like no physique, like very sloppy body, but like, and also skinny, or if they were fat, like it didn't seem to matter. If they were in the gym where I was training, this was a fitness first, they were either on gear or coming off gear or had just been on the gear.
When you say gear, you mean like steroids?
Steroids, like testosterone, variations of, you know, muscle building compounds.
Some Australians would call gear amphetamines.
Gotcha.
So just checking.
A lot of my old gay clients were on those as well. But it's like, you'd be surprised. Like, I used to think to myself with a lot of these guys, and still do, I was like, you don't even look like you're on steroids. You're just using it as like a lifestyle band-aid because you're just partying all the time. And I'm like, why bother?
On that note, if you do want to take steroids and do them safely, Stigma Health also has another branch that's called Roid Safe, and they'll help make sure and just like check your bloods and stuff like that so that you can at least do it in a safe way and not
I didn't
a
know they
dangerous
had
way.
that. That's a really cool service.
They have like several branches. They're not just Stigma Health.
That's pretty sick. Do they have somewhere that is like a testosterone replacement clinic that they actually administer their own stuff? That's always been my thing. Whenever people are like, you on steroids? I'm like, I've never taken steroids because I don't trust myself not to accidentally give myself too much, too little, not the right drugs, give myself bitch titties. Like seriously, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I do not want to look like I've got like these gyno titties, which is what happens. It's a side effect of steroids.
I think that's why a lot of I've never experienced or never like met people until I got here. I'd meet Australian men who've had like
the surgery,
the thing,
right?
like the removal of the like man boob or whatever.
Legit.
And now that I look back on it, I'm like, they were all gym guys.
All on steroids.
Yeah, probably.
100%.
Exactly.
All on steroids.
Or
like,
something.
Gyno,
hormone replacement, whatever.
It's called gynomastia, and that doesn't happen naturally.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, do they have their own clinics? Listen, I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine it works quite similarly to how Stigma Health works.
Yeah,
I imagine you just go
tests.
online, you fill out a form, and then it'll send you to somebody to get your blood work done and stuff
I might
like that.
do that, not for to check what my roids are doing.
For science purposes.
But I just want to check what my testosterone natural levels are because like I'm obviously big into the gym, big into weights. I feel like I would have a pretty good level of testosterone judging by my musculature and my sex drive, but I've never actually had a proper test. I've always just been to the doctor to ask, and they're like, oh, tell me, are you sleeping a full night most of the time? Like, yeah. They're like, do you have energy for the gym? Yeah. Like, you look like you've got pretty good test. We're not doing the test. I don't know what it is about Australia. They do not like doing testing that isn't required. Even if you pay for it.
I know. I'm like, what
We're
if I pay out of pocket? Actually, do you know what?
What?
I mean, we're past MGen now because, like, I got into Stigma's era and was like, we need it.
And they were, which is great.
And now they have it. I'm in their era again.
With what? What this time?
HIV PCR.
What's a PCR?
Okay, so
Like, what's the difference between that and a blood?
Right. So the test that's done here in Australia is HIV serology, which is a blood test. PCR is generally like a swab of some sort. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think that in the case of the HIV one, it's probably still taken from your blood. I think they just do a PCR from your blood, but I'm not 100% sure. But what I have learned is HIV serology is checking for the antibodies, right? Okay, so what will happen for you to have antibodies in your body for HIV means that you've had time to start building up the antibodies to the infection.
So it's been in your system for up to 6 months at that time.
It's
Over
been,
6 months.
It's been in your
Sorry.
it's been in your system for definitely way more than the 14-day period.
Yes.
All right. So
but is it contagious before it can be?
I haven't figured that out, but I would
I don't know that.
I would assume so because
Because I wonder that with like if I slept with someone, right, and they gave me chlamydia, but then we know that it can't be tested within 7 days as positive, can I still give that chlamydia if I was to sleep with?
That.
Yeah, like if I was to sleep with someone. If someone hears this part of the podcast and they actually know what they're talking about in the comments, please. Okay, the gestation period for chlamydia, for example, is 7 days before it pops positive on a test. So if I have sex with someone who's positive on day 1, and then on day 4 I have sex with someone else, or let's just say even day 3, when I know it's brewing inside you, but is there enough viral load for it to move over? I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because that would be interesting to know with the HIV if like you're contagious for 4 months before you even pop positive.
My best assumption is probably yes, because overseas they're making you do the PCR test, and the PCR is not testing for antibodies; it's testing for genes, I guess. So that it's actually testing for like the DNA and RNA, which shows up earlier.
Right. So it goes from like a 6-month positive to how many days before it would gestate?
Listen, when I looked it up, like I couldn't get exact numbers on like what the window period was. So even like when you say 6 months for the the
HIV serum, yeah.
Even the HIV serology, like it wasn't a 6-month period. It was something shorter than that. But everywhere I looked was like, oh, it could be anywhere between 10 days to 90 days, or it could be 15 days to 35 days. So there's nothing that I can get that's solid exact.
Yeah.
But I could get that it was a lot longer in the serology than it was in the PCR. So now I'm in their air about that. But it's going to be difficult for them to make that change. Like they've got,
I think just being able to add the MGen for now, like that is a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like if anyone out there has tried to get tested for something that they don't have symptoms for, it is virtually impossible. Every doctor will turn you away. Like we needed to get MGen tests to work. That was a new thing that we decided as a collective. We're going to add this test to what's required as a bare minimum. And we would go to several doctors, and several doctors would say, do you have symptoms for MGen? And I'd say, no. Please test me. And they'd say, unfortunately, we can't test you without symptoms. So all of us had to tell a little white lie. Ooh, whoopsie. They'd be like, do you have symptoms? We're like, yeah, absolutely. All the symptoms of MGen, I've got them. Sock it to me.
Turned out I had it, and I had been into the doctor over and over being like, I have a UTI. I have symptoms of a UTI. MGen. And I'd get tested and they'd be like, you don't have a UTI. And I'm like, man, it feels like I have a UTI all the time. I went months and months and months and months and months, and I assume I must have had MGen that whole time because later...
getting tested that whole time, but not for MGen.
And collabing with people that whole time. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, and being in pain the whole time from it. And then, so that's why I was such a like hardcore advocate for MGen, because I suffered from it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, people don't understand. Like, yes, the reason doctors don't really care about it as much is because 60 to 70% of the time it is alleged that your own immune system can destroy it. But it's not tested, wasn't tested for at all, still isn't. If you're a general person who's not a sex worker, you do not get and you get a full STI check. You go to the doctor and say, I want a full STI panel, please. Mm-hmm. They'll give you one with everything without MGen on it. So you'll still get your syphilis, your HIV, all your hepatitises, your chlamydia, your gonorrhea, whatever, swabs, whatever, but they will not test you for this. So hypothetically, if 60% of the infections get destroyed by your immunity, 40% of the infections are just out in the wild out there. Even if you are trying to be responsible, you're not able to test for it. So the potential like side effect here is that there is like literally thousands of young people who don't get tested that often, who probably are getting some like uterus scarring, and that's affecting their, you know, their fertility forever, because they've got this thing that like every time they get STI checked, their doctor's like, good to go. But reality is they've got this like MGen that is like this like elephant in the room that no one's really willing to talk about as a problem until it becomes a problem. Like we know people who have had, you know, had to have multiple surgeries to their uterus because they've just got this like epic scarring that it took them almost a year to get rid of.
And the thing is too, like Australia was like, the healthcare system here was like, oh, it's really not that common. Like we don't really have it here. And it's like, no, you think we don't have it here because you're not testing for it. As long as you don't test for it, the data's going to show you that nobody has it.
That is hilarious. I never made that connection. I'm like, duh, of course, dummy.
Yeah. And then once we started being like, test us, it started popping up like, oh, people have it. Yeah, we've had it all along.
Yeah, correct. I literally said to a nurse once, I was like, she said that same thing where she's like, oh, it's not very common. I was like, look, I've worked with 3 girls in the last month who have all come back from America where they've just had an MGen, like huge upset scare. Remember last Christmas when there was that huge MGen outbreak in LA and like basically all work got shut down for like a week and a half, 2 weeks? Well,
I think that was like 2 Christmases ago, but yes.
Whenever it was, like, and I remember like saying to the nurse at the time, I was like, look, I've worked with like 2 or 3 girls who definitely have been in that ecosystem and they've just come back from the States. I want to get tested. And it was a no. It was like, oh, it's not that common, whatever. But yeah, pretty crazy.
And actually, when I had it, I don't think I'd been overseas, and I don't think
it was just here.
And I think it was just before, like, there was kind of like a moment where Australian creators all started going overseas. And I'm pretty sure I tested positive just before that moment. So I don't think anybody brought it back to me.
No, it was just
I think
here.
I caught it here. Yep. And I also remember going to collab with a guy, and he was like a brand new creator, and then he went and got tested, and I told him get tested for this thing. He hadn't been working with any of the names that...
And he had it.
He had it too,
right.
Yeah. So it was
more common than you probably think, guys.
Yep.
Get tested for MGen if you can. There's been some very interesting marketing.
Sorry, I like how you're like, are we going to talk about MGen? I'm like, no, I'm past that. And then we like dove deep into it.
I still think it's interesting to talk about because the audience has no doubt like not heard of it.
Yeah.
Like even though we bang on about it quite a bit, to be honest, if you until I heard someone in the industry talk about it, I was like, I've never seen this STI on a panel, or like had no one's ever talked about it. It's only just the general, the normal suspects, you know?
Yeah.
Lately, in the last 3 to 6 months, there's been a lot of international press with a few female creators doing some huge promotional stunts like the Schoolies girls. And now recently there's been Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue. Both I think Lily did the 100-man GB, and of just regular general dudes who just kind of all rocked up, scanned their barcode and went to town. And then there was Bonnie that allegedly did the 1,057 man GB. Are we going to see you follow in these like same kind of footsteps? And like, what are your thoughts on these like shock factor 1,000-man group sessions like with the general public?
I think I'm of 2 minds of them, but also I think you're a little bit behind. Did you not hear? I
was going to mention that after we get this point done. I'm assuming it's the same thing.
I'll let you get to it later. I won't go there.
Let's hit this first point first, and then we'll hit the second point.
Okay. I'm of 2 minds of it. I don't know if I'll go that route, but I never know. Like, you know, you do kind of roll with the punches and change with the times. A lot of people hate on that shock factor.
Oh, hugely. There's not a lot of girls in industry that I've seen that are respecting it. Like they're really hating on it. But I think they also, a lot of girls I see that are really not into it are also in communities where, like in the UK, for example, there's a lot of like gang grape happening, like in general. So some creators are making connections with like making connections with like that being okay, like everyone just kind of using someone as a set of holes.
When you're going to go that sort of like narrative, you could literally take that narrative in anything that is related. So somebody who's saying that, like making that connection, you could make a connection to something they're doing, which is not so shock factor, and demonize it. The girls have found something that works for them, and they probably tripped into it, to be honest. Like they tripped over and they went viral for something. They went viral for something, and that thing that they went viral for, people started hating on them and hating on them and hating on them, and they probably went, you know what? It seems to be that the thing that got me viral was the thing that got me hated the most. So if people are going to hate on me and it's going to make me money, I'm going to lean into this. And that's what I think they've done, because a lot of people look at these girls like Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, and they're like, oh, they're horrible people. They don't have a soul, this, that. And I'm like, I mean, I've met Bonnie, and I never got bad vibes from Bonnie in any way whatsoever. She doesn't seem like a soulless, horrible person to me at all. She's actually quite lovely.
Yep.
And I think she's just leaned into it. It's just, she's like, you know what? People are going to hate on me, and that's what's going to make me money. So I'm just going to go for that. So
I think what I've realized watching, like I've never mastered the marketing where you're the heel. So there's the hero, and then there's the heel. So the hero is someone who is always seen in a good light, always doing what the viewer would perceive as a moral high ground, morally sound choice, blah, blah, blah. So, and then there's the heel, which I compare to The Rock in WWE, where he comes out and goes, do you smell what The Rock is cooking, you pieces of shit? And then spits in the like good guy's face and then slams his face with his shoulder. And then everyone boos him as he's leaving the crowd, giving him the finger. I look at these like characters in the SW community and I go like, you're the heel, and you. And what people don't understand is that if you do something good for someone in general in life, they'll tell no one or one person. If you do something terrible to someone, or you just do something that puts someone off, they'll tell 20 people. Yeah. Anyone who will listen to some people, they'll tell them.
That's a good
You know
point.
what I mean? So in terms of marketing, I can see how doing some pretty off-color like in terms of what society would deem that, creates a lot of hype. Like as you can see, Bonnie and Lily are now on like every single podcast that will have them, like that they'll be able to go on. If they have the time to do it, they're invited on the podcast, no matter what that is.
And the thing too is like I'll see creators post videos talking about how disgusted they are by the things that she's doing or she's doing, but at the same time, it's like, are you even disgusted with them, or are you just posting this to get views off of her back? Because I'm a little bit suspicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if I was to post a video right now and be like, oh, Bonnie or Lily or Annie or whatever did this thing, and here's what I think about it, I'm outraged, I'm going to get a ton of views off of
their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's...
are you any better?
Yeah, well, they would make it seem that way. So they're taking
the moral high ground, but in a sense, they're also they're feeding they're feeding off of that rage bait.
Yes. Oh, so. Absolutely. And I think, what I will say is that Bonnie in particular is very good at enraging the single white female, or not even the married white female, because what she'll say is things like, it's your fault for not your husband's enough that he's cheating on you, you slag. You know what I mean?
Like, I know. Sometimes I'll watch her and I'll be like,
yeah, exactly.
Bonnie, oh, all right, girl.
So,
I got you. Yeah, all right. I see you.
from a psychology, from a psychology position, like, if I take all the ethics out of it, all the who she's upsetting and what she's kind of promoting with that statement, like, and then I look at it from a marketing perspective, I think that's genius.
It is genius.
Like,
does she even believe it? She might not even believe
Probably
that.
Not.
Exactly.
Remember, 100% guys, remember, a lot of people on these apps doing what we do are playing a character. Like some of us are like for me, we're
Bonnie's
about to,
sweet and beautiful.
Yeah, like we are, like you and I are doing a 2-hour podcast right now. It's hard to do 2 hours of podcast and like not be yourself. Yeah. But like it's really easy for me to get online and play a persona
in a reel
for a 20-second reel, 30-second reel. You know, so don't believe everything you see. But there are like things where I look at it and I go, man, that is that is a good way to get a lot of views because you're just pissing people off seems to be like the supercharger for getting more exposure.
Absolutely.
Which is a
100%.
problem because like it kind of is a race to the bottom in one way, in some way.
I'm not going to go that route because I still want to collect my flags. That's my thing.
Oh,
I'm still going to be collecting my flags.
I do remember that. Like,
Yeah,
so
so-
you went viral overseas, or everywhere basically, where you
Started
were,
with the Kyle and Jackie O show.
Yeah, and you were trying to sleep with as many countries as humanly possible. People
Yes.
from as many countries. And
Yes.
how many countries did you get up to in the end?
It just kind of depends how you look at it because I already had like, I don't know, 40-something countries in the
Right.
beginning, but that was pre-industry.
Yep.
So I kind of like wiped the slate clean, got it,
Excellent.
and started over content-wise.
Yep.
And I think I probably only have like 5 or 6 countries, but it's because also like it's not with creators. Because I've
Right.
had creators be like, well, I have this passport or I have this passport. And I'm like, nah, this is truly an amateur series.
Oh, so I didn't realize you were seeing people from those countries to do an amateur series. I thought you were
Yeah.
just telling stories of people you've met. That you've slept with.
Originally, the way the story blew up was from previous days, like something I had done in the past. And then because the story blew up, I was like, yo,
Cool, let's run with this.
let's
Yeah.
do this for content. So
Right.
yeah, I am collecting flags for content now, and that is completely an amateur series. It's with other content creators. Yeah.
Amateur series are the way to go. Like everyone I know who has a amateur series does really well with it.
Yeah.
Like Flesh Mechanic does really well. You seem to be doing really well. Annie Knight and who else was doing the applications? Bonnie. Yeah, they were doing like the schoolies
Yeah,
like
yeah.
things. But the thing is, like, people want to see real life interactions.
Yeah.
You know, so
Because they're like, oh, that could be me.
well, exactly. They're like, or they can reflect on it and be like, that was me. Like, I remember when or like, not that it's actually them, but like,
Yes.
like I see things online that are real sometimes where it's like, at a party.
done that.
Yeah, at a party, getting a in one of the room, whatever. And you're like, that's been me, or I've done that before, or like, or like in like a handicapped toilet at the club, done that.
I used to give birthday way back in the same day that I used to do flag collecting. I wonder if I should make an amateur series of birthday too.
You would definitely do.
If it's your birthday, hit me up.
You heard it here first,
Oh
everyone.
my gosh.
It's a great idea.
Okay.
It's a
Maybe
great
I'm going to
idea.
do a second amateur series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wonder if alone, BJ videos alone, I wonder if they're popular. Because I remember Dread started a BJ series, and then I haven't seen anything of that since like the first 3 or 4.
Because
he did.
nobody can fit that in their mouth.
True that. Have you worked with Dread before?
No, because I don't even know how to fit that into my. Most people do, and with him,
Dude, I just
and
chatted
I just
to
don't think I can.
to Arabella from UK, Green Girl Bella, the Arsenal girl.
Yeah.
And she was saying like he, like not through his fault, but just through the sheer size of his like equipment.
The damage.
She ended up having to go to hospital and getting like
Inner
yeah, I don't really know the damage details, but I know she had to go to the hospital. So like it's real. I don't
Yeah.
know how some of these girls take it in their who are not very experienced girls. Like there are some girls I've met who are like, yeah, just wanted-
stretch more apparently, but I don't think my built for that.
I had a girl literally say the same thing. She was like, it was hurting more in my, like, she was like, I felt my tissue separating more in the front than I did in the back. So I just decided to do, man, that sounds horrific.
It's really common.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. Well, I think we can leave it there. Have you got any other questions or anything like that you want to go through?
No, I think we did Lucky 14, didn't we?
No, we didn't. Let's finish with.
Oh wait,
what-
and we also didn't touch on the thing that
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you
Sorry,
were possibly
correct.
behind with.
Okay, so just to rewind it back to the Lily and the Bonnie Blue, they've just come out yesterday, both on the same day. What I will say, actually, so firstly, I'll say I think they're beefing. Secondly, they've both come out on the exact same day to say that they're both pregnant.
Maybe they can reconcile their differences, and when they have their babies, they can bring them up together as besties.
They can co-parent the babies together. But I think that's so good. Like they've obviously one of them has obviously had this content plan for this pregnancy to happen, and the other one's just gone, oh yeah, well, guess who's also pregnant?
Yes, maybe.
That's what it feels like anyway.
Maybe, but also I've seen a lot of people, like the haters in the comments, calling one of them that one, basically being like
Swapping their names around
on purpose.
Right. Yes.
And then I've seen people in the comments of like stuff
I
about
saw
Bonnie.
Lily go on a podcast, do a
I
podcast
did
reel,
too.
where she was like, there's a certain other person
I
that's
saw
doing...
that too.
And they're like, what, you mean Bonnie? And she's like, we're not naming them.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're beefing hard.
I've seen ones where like people would be like, so Bonnie hadn't said she was pregnant yet, I don't think. And then people would be like, good luck with your pregnancy. And it was on purpose that they were saying that to her to be like,
Right.
Lily's more relevant than you right now. You're basically just Lily 2.0. So I don't know if she was like, oh yeah. I think she was just like, you guys gonna call me pregnant? Hi, I'm pregnant.
Classic. I saw it and I was like, this is so good. This is so good. I'm really enjoying the Lily and Bonnie show. I like them both.
I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You're both beautiful.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah, don't let any of this be like, oh, he's hating on those girls. No,
No.
absolutely not. I'm enjoying, like, Twitter for me is my Days of Our Lives. For those of you who aren't old like me, Days of Our Lives used to be like a daytime soap opera. Like it was probably on just after Jerry Springer, but like Twitter for me, I wake up in the morning. Some people used to read like the morning paper. I scroll Twitter and see what's going down.
I'm like, what's Kanye saying today?
Oh, dude. Did you see his recent one today? Where he's like, on
reflection.
On reflection, I don't think I'm a Nazi.
I'm
No
like,
Kanye, should have said that last week.
I'm like, what is he gonna say tomorrow?
He's a very interesting character because he got the mental health wild card where he can say whatever he wants. There will be a large portion of people who'll be like, fuck Kanye, fuck him. But then he literally can just be like, on reflection, guys, I've looked back at my like little episode and I don't think I'm actually a Nazi, no matter how much I said I was. Anyway, catch you later. And everyone's
he's
like,
lining that up to say some really hateful things.
Is he?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure if we looked it up right now, there'll be something hateful
there'd be
about
like
the Jews right
there'd
now.
be like 20 tweets straight after that.
It'll just be like Hitler.
Yeah. We just caught him right before his episode.
With his face superimposed and still the mustache.
Oh, that's the wildest move, was saying all that stuff and then spending $7 million. Do you know what a gangster move it is to spend $7 million on a Super Bowl ad where you're just doing a selfie like video with your iPhone and you say, oh, I've spent all the money, but go to my Yeezy.com site and buy what's on there. And then you go to the website and it's a shirt with a swastika on it only. He deleted everything else. And do you know, like,
unhinged. That man is unhinged. I'm not saying
insane.
that I'm a hater or a supporter. I'm just saying he's unhinged and I'm here to watch.
It's like
all.
a car crash that you can't stop watching.
Yeah.
You're like, look away. And you're like, no, the eyes just do not want to blink even.
And it's in like rewind and fast forward. It's like something that
Yeah.
explodes and then goes back together.
But
and
then,
explodes
yeah, I was going to say,
together.
as soon as this is all over, he'll go back to writing another album, which will get like 10 number ones out of the 15 tracks on there. And it'll be like all this never happened.
Oh, you'll be like, manic episode out of the way. That gave me like all this
insight.
Yeah.
And we're good to go. Great.
Anyways,
yeah.
what did you say? You had another question?
I had one more question. What is the secret to success? If you had to like point at one thing, secret to success on OnlyFans for someone wondering.
I don't know. If someone else figures it out, let me know.
Nice.
Go to cocosworld.xxx and hit me up on my social media and all of my DMs and let me know what is the secret to success.
Yeah, it feels that way, hey, that there's
Yeah.
not one thing. Yeah. You want to let everyone know where they can find you on your various platforms?
Yes, I am on a ton of platforms, but I try and consolidate it all onto my website, which is www.cocosworld.xxx, and it's got my safe for work stuff as well as my not safe for work stuff. I'm on videos, sort of, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and all that, and more.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. That was a
Thank
great
you.
chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See ya.